Greetings all and welcome back on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. Bitcoin is back over 50,000. Why crypto investors shouldn't change a thing. Looking at a Milquetoast article here from Next Advisor where they say, hey, Bitcoin's up over 50,000 and maybe it'll go up and maybe it'll go down. We don't know. Very, very informative article. All right, let's take a look at what's going on with the rest of the crypto market. So Bitcoin has maintained above 50,000 now for a day or two, okay? And remember, guys, what I'm saying is they're going to breach that 50,000, and I don't know why they were holding it down. The whales, and we're not just talking about individual whales. These are institutions, governments, major players who wanted to have that price below 50,000. And I was watching Cryptos R Us with George over there, and George mentioned that in the last week, there was something like 40,000 Bitcoin taken off of exchanges from the whales. I wasn't able to find an article or where he got the info from, but that would explain it. If you're trying to accumulate 40,000 Bitcoin, you want that price to stay right. If you're quoted at 50K, you want to make sure your price stays below 50K. So that explains that. Now it is up over 50K, despite when you look at the volume of trading. On the different exchanges, it's down around 50%, or at least so Coinbase says. Every crypto is actually down in the overall volume of trading, of course, because it is a weekend and it's Sunday today. But they're still going up. Not skyrocketing up, but they are still actually trading in an upward trend. Other notables that we want to talk about is we're going to talk about Solana again because we love Solana. So Solana is actually up at $1.38 there, 138. And what it did, of course, is exactly as I said in my last video where I talked about Solana, is it's going to go up and it's going to hit somewhere around $150. What did we actually hit up here at our peak? $150.13. And I said 2 days ago or 3 days ago, whatever, in my Sol, I said, if you're looking at buying Sol, it's going to hit $150 and it's going to pull back. And I think at the time it was $135, somewhere around there. I said, even if you're looking to, wait for that, it's probably only going to pull back to $125 to $135 after it hits $150. Well, it hit $150, and what do we see today? She pulls back. It went down to 130, I think, and now it's right back up. It actually never even hit 130. It went down to 134, 133. So I was right. Solana's all good. And if you're dollar cost averaging into Solana, it's a pretty safe bet. We'll just say that is a pretty safe bet. Not financial advice, but I don't see Solana retracing back. Now, when we started this run, Solana was trading at around $40 to $45. I don't see a 50% drop from Solana's current price to go back to retrace to $65 or $75 or something in there, like you would if the entire market had moved and the entire market had made gains like Solana had gained. You'd be looking for that 40% crash. But Solana itself, no. When an individual coin or project out there makes these gains, it's because that they're doing something, all right? And right now, Solana is a full-fledged, decentralized platform that does everything that Ethereum can do except better. And right now, everyone wants to mint NFTs. That is the new hotness, NFTs. And, Solana does this, and it's pushing everything. A lot of projects are doing this, and they have their Ignite event where they're trying to get hacked by people and trying to find, paying money for people to find vulnerabilities in their project. And it's scaling fantastically, and it can do like 50,000, 60,000 transactions per second. It's a safe bet at $137. I think it's going to consolidate here for the next week and make its way back up to 100. And when it goes to like 151, 52, 53-ish, it's just going to start steamrolling back up again until it hits around $180 to $200. That's the way that I see it. Again, not financial advice, but I did call this when Solana would retrace and when you could pick it up at a deal. However, the deal in the dip right now is the same price as what it was when I said you may as well just buy in now. Okay. And then I explained how you could go about staking Sol. This is not something that you want to pump and dump. You don't want to hold this for like a month and then get rid of it. It's something that's like an Ethereum where you're going to have marginal gains, 10, 15% gains over the course of a few months. And then all of a sudden it's really going to rocket. And that's where we're at with Solana. The other thing with Solana is it's a finished project, unlike Ethereum that has to have patches every 6 to 8 months to, every time they need to do something. Cardano, which does nothing right now. This week, or is it next week? I think it's the 12th. Cardano is supposed to be, all that they said it was going to be. We will see. We will see. But right now, Solana does those things. So that's what's going on with that. Again, Bitcoin on for the price today is $50,593. It is slowly climbing up and maintaining that $50,000 mark. I believe that the whales have accumulated their 40,000 Bitcoin that they've been working on for a couple of weeks now, and they're stopping the downward pressure on the price because typically Sundays are a slower, down day for the markets. It hasn't been for a few weeks, but typically it is. But 50,600 is as high as it's been. So I think it's just going to keep going with, 5% gains all week. The 7th is going to be the test, though. I think that's going to be Tuesday, where El Salvador, it's official, live, and everybody has to deal with them in Bitcoin, or at least, be able to pay in Bitcoin if that's what they request. And we'll see what happens with the market in that. I'm thinking it's going to take off. Now, another thing, we're talking about in George Cryptos R Us, when he was talking about the 40,000 Bitcoin that came off exchanges, he also, his show was on which is the first one to hit, going to be the first coin to double, and he was talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Cardano. And of all of those, I'll just throw my 2 cents in there. Bitcoin will be the first to double out of any of those, but my starting point is not $50,000. My starting point is the bottom at 41,000. Okay, 41,000. So I think Bitcoin will go to 82,000 before Ethereum will double or before ADA will double. That is my prediction on that. Everything is going to trail after Bitcoin when the pressure is off. Ethereum has nothing really except high, really, really super high transaction rates. So until Ethereum comes out and does Ethereum 2.0 with staking, which is sometime in December or early next year, I don't see them doing a whole heck of a lot. Maybe hitting up to 4,800 I could see, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Cardano, ADA, if their stuff works when they come out with it on the 12th, they could go up to $4 or $5 within, a month, very short period of time. But still, we have to wait for the projects to come on to ADA to see really, how, if it's going to take off like a Solana or something or not. Again, remember, Cardano's got 35 billion or 45 billion. I think it's 35 billion coins out there, which is ridiculous. They have to do a coin burn. That is ridiculous. So the price can really only go so high. Takes a lot of money to move that price. Solana, 137. Solana has 400 million coins out, I believe. 375 million to 400 million would say 501 is the total supply. Circulating supply is 286. So that's where Solana is at. It's a much, much lower supply than either Ethereum or Cardano. So as far as price movements, that explains why Solana is moving quicker and making larger leaps. Larger leaps. What's August record-breaking month for crypto flows mean for Bitcoin? So apparently the exchanges were alive with whale movement, okay? And of course, like all of these articles, what does it mean for Bitcoin? It means price could go up or the price could go down. Well, I'll go ahead and call it and say the price is going up. There you go. That's my opinion. I did come across this interesting story that I did want to cover, because I am from Minnesota. CEO of Minneapolis Federal Reserve, globalist, crypto is 95% fraud, hype, noise, and confusion. Okay, now who is the guy we're talking about? We're talking about Dr. Evil here. Dr. Evil says he doesn't like crypto. I don't like crypto. All right, Dr. Evil says It's 95% fraud, hype, noise, and confusion. Okay, is Dr. Evil lying to you? No, these are how these globalists work, all right? If you look at it as market cap and the money involved, then that's a complete lie. But if you look at it as far as worthwhile, actual, real projects that are trying to do something and better the economy and better, humanity, we'll just say. We'll go all out, all in for idealism here. If you want to look at projects that are actually doing something, so like the top 50, I wouldn't even say that because there's a lot of junk in that top 50. But if you take all of the crypto coins out there, all 8,000 of them, and look at the ones that are actually attempting to do something worthwhile and good and worth investment and worth money and those sorts of things, then he's right. 95% at least of the stuff that you look at when you go and you spend a whole bunch of time up here on Live Coin Watch, and this is just the 50 coins. How many pages do we have? 186 pages. We're going to go back here to look at these. The 9251. All of these coins that you've never heard of before. 10,000 coins, right? You would bet out of the 10,000 coins, probably only 500 of them are actually worthwhile projects. And it doesn't mean you can't make money off some of this stuff, right? You can make money off this stuff just like anything else. But if you're looking at investments and things that you would actually use yourself and are actually happy that are being produced, no, 95% of them are junk. The president and chief executive officer of the Minneapolis Federal Reserve says there is no use case for Bitcoin and other crypto assets. Okay, so there he's lying, unless he is trying to say that there is nothing you can do with Bitcoin. Well, it's a store of value. So this guy must have his head too far up his globalist butt to understand what Bitcoin is. But what I think this really is just FUD. It's a FUD campaign to keep people away from crypto, but it ain't working. It's a losing battle. They're way too late on that one. Speaking at Pacific Northwest Economic Region annual summit held in Montana last Tuesday, Neil Kashkari said he was less optimistic about Bitcoin compared to 5 or 6 years ago. Rather than sparking financial innovation, Carl Karki said, the current landscape of crypto is comprised 95% of fraud, hype, noise, and confusion. Well, right, but is that Bitcoin's fault? No, it was because Bitcoin's success, the success of Bitcoin, started all of the copycats. Okay? That is what it is. That is not Bitcoin's fault. KK argued that Bitcoin would never be able to overtake the US dollar as a form of currency, noting the government's monopoly on money printing. You see, this guy's Federal Reserve guy, and he says, well, Bitcoin's never gonna overtake the US dollar. No, it doesn't have to overtake the US dollar because the US dollar is committing suicide. All Bitcoin has to do is wait. All right? You know what? He said that Bitcoin would never be able to overtake the US dollar. Well, guess what, Kashkari? In El Salvador, it did. It already has. Okay? As a form of currency, Bitcoin reigns supreme in El Salvador. But noting the government's monopoly on money printing. And that's what it comes down to. Does he just believe that people are always going to have faith in the dollar? As reported, Kashkari said, if you go into your basement and you want to produce your own currency, the Secret Service will come knocking on your door. There's no barrier to you creating your own Bitcoin, and there are thousands of garbage coins that are being created. Well, yes, the Secret Service will come knocking on your door for counterfeiting a Federal Reserve note because they own that money. That is their system. But if you have your own money, they don't have jurisdiction. There is nobody's business, and they could have nipped that crap in the bud. But the only way they could actually come after a Bitcoin or something like that is to say that it's going after gold. Well, America already threw out gold as a currency and already threw out silver as a currency where it can no longer be legal tender. So therefore, the door is wide open. All right. The door is wide open. Kashkari noted that several crypto assets on the market are complete fraud and Ponzi schemes. Well, of course. They are profiting off get-rich-quick and mindset of the industry. Says the guy who is part of a Ponzi scheme called the Federal Reserve System, where they print money out of thin air. He says, monopoly on money. The Minneapolis Federal Reserve had admitted he had tried to understand the problems that Bitcoin would be able to solve, but ultimately concluded no one can articulate what that actual problem is. Of course he can't articulate it because he is the problem. He doesn't want to say, well, the Federal Reserve and fiat money is the problem. He ain't going to say that. He's going to say, I don't know. I'm just a dumb government employee, which is what they all want you to believe. All of these banksters and all of these hedge fund guys and all of these politicians want you to believe that they are morons, right? Everybody wants to say, the government's just too stupid. The reason that they spent trillions of dollars and lost it is just the government's so stupid. The government's so dumb. No, these people know exactly what they're doing. These people know exactly what they're doing. He highlighted investor concerns over dollar inflation as possible avenue for Bitcoin, but countered that Bitcoin has thus far only proved effective at funding illicit activities such as drug dealing and prostitution. Lie. That is a blatant lie. Let me see. In America, I believe you would pay for drugs and prostitutes using U.S. dollars. I don't know many prostitutes that are coming around taking Bitcoin. There's probably some. But if there were, how would you know? Because Bitcoin is a semi-anonymous platform. How would you know? How would you know if somebody bought drugs with Bitcoin? How would you know? Kashkari has been previously critical of crypto assets, calling the industry a giant garbage dumpster. In February, a giant garbage dumpster fire. You're supposed to see, he doesn't even get his references right. In February 2020. And that is the end of that article with this New World Order lunatic. Doesn't he look trustworthy? Even when he's trying to come off as a nice guy. I swear I'm a nice guy. He's a soulless devil. He'll just lies straight to your face. I mean, this guy is a candidate for like Dr. Evil. You could put this guy right in a movie. And he's trying to appear relaxed, and he's like, I've never been relaxed in my life, right? Yeah. So that's what Kashki says about crypto. Just so you know, you're doing the right thing. When these guys say that it's all a scam and a fraud and people are using it for drugs and, don't worry about crypto, don't worry about crypto, it's Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil is telling you don't do that. So you know the obvious conclusion is buy more Bitcoin. Buy more Bitcoin. All right, guys. And with that, we are going to be out of here until next time. Oh, yeah, DCA tomorrow. Portfolio is looking pretty good, $1,700. And so with that, we are going to be out of here.